This is my review for Metaphor Refantazio, and man, I truly adore this game. And I tell you, like, I've been wanting to do this review for a while now. I was going to do it last month, but some things came up IRL that made me postpone it a bit. I've only beaten the game once, but I plan on playing it multiple times. I plan on playing it many times because I truly adore this game. I feel like this game is one of my favorite games of all times. I'm gonna do with this review. I'm going to have it broke down into multiple sessions where like I rate it from gameplay to visuals to story and to the soundtrack, which you can hear in the background. I love this. I love the soundtrack. I adore the soundtrack. And then I'm gonna give you my overall review because this is my first review all time, my first review ever, and I'm just going off the rip. This like first take and everything. So let's get into it. First, we're gonna start off with gameplay. Pace, RPG enjoyers, JRPG enjoyers, and just like RPG enjoyers in general. Like if you enjoy those type of games, you will love this game. Like I love the build variety with the archetype system. They call it the archetypes, and with archetypes, it's kind of like similar, more akin to like if you're familiar with like Final Fantasy with like 14, 12, Zodiac Age, Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon, Yakuza Infinite Wealth. It's very akin to that, to where it's kind of like just jobs, but just with a different name, like archetypes. There's many different archetypes in this game. You have Seeker, which is like the main archetype, and it's a very supportive archetype, but you can kind of do your own thing with it, which I love. Then you have like the Warrior, which is very damage dealing, but you can put your own spin on it as well, which is one of my really why I love the gameplay of this game, where they just give you a lot of freedom to do whatever you want. And one of my favorite RPGs of all times is Divinity Original Sin 2, and that game gave you so much freedom. It was just like, do whatever you want with that game. You don't care what you do, just do whatever you want. And I love having freedom in like RPGs and stuff. I love having freedom in games also, because it just they just let you do whatever you want. It just lets you do whatever you want. And that's what I love with Metaphor. I feel like I have like the freedom to just make a class, not really make a class, but just pick a class and just put my own spin on it. Just put my own spin on that class. Like I don't like following metas and stuff. Like I see, like I've been seeing recently with like some of the videos with this game with like metas and things like that. I don't follow metas. Like one of my favorite jobs in this class, I ain't gonna say what it is because it's a spoiler, but one of my favorite jobs is, well, archetypes in this class is an archetype that is considered like bad, but I used it throughout the whole game and I just loved it. I put my own spin on it and everything. And that's one thing I love about the gameplay for this game. And the gameplay for this game is very much like a love letter to all of Atlus's games in the past, like Digital Devil Summoner, Devil Summoner, Soul Hacker, Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, and some of the other games. I never played Devil Summoner. I never played Soul Hacker, but I played Shin Megami Tensei 3. I played all the Persona games, and it definitely feels more akin to like Shin Megami Tensei than Persona. Like one of the main things that I feel like is similar to Persona is like the what you call it, the school, like not yeah, like school, like how Persona has like the school days and stuff, where you have to spend time in school, spend time out of school. I feel like that's what's similar with this game to them games where you have to spend days on certain things. That's like the Persona element with Metaphor. But when it comes to gameplay, it's not that similar to Persona. It's like, it depends on what difficulty you play on. Like if you play on normal or easy, it's going to feel a little bit similar to Persona. But if you play like on hard and above, this game is very much akin to like Shin Megami Tensei and the other games that's like challenging. It's very challenging on hard. Like I highly recommend playing it on hard if you want like a challenge. If you want to enjoy the story, definitely play like on normal or easy. But if you want a challenge, like if you want to really enjoy like a play like a JRPG that will punish you for your mistakes and stuff, but not too hard. It ain't gonna do it too hard, but punish you for your mistakes. Definitely play it on hard. It's very rewarding and satisfying. I loved my experience playing it on hard. And yeah, that like it's definitely has its own spin to things. It's not just like a replica of those games or anything. It definitely has its own spin to its gameplay and stands out on its own, which I love. Definitely like one of my favorite games this year, if not my game of the year. Okay, that was just a bit of the gameplay, which is one of my favorite things about this game. I love the gameplay. It gives me this heavy Persona vibes mixed with Shin Megami Tensei. Heavy like Divinity Original Sin 2 vibes with like how the build freedom with the archetypes and stuff. It gives me Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon vibes and Infinite Wealth with like just being able to do what you want with the jobs with those games. And archetypes is what this game has and akin to jobs. And I love the archetype system of this game. That makes this game so unique in its own way. I love it. I would give the gameplay a 10. For me personally, that's just my opinion. I love the gameplay portion of it. And one of my favorite songs just came up. Let me talk about the soundtrack. The soundtrack for this game, which is one of my another favorite parts of this game. I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack to me has some of the like songs that I don't hear much in like video games. Like something where I just like songs I just don't want to skip. There's so many songs in this game that I just never skip. That I never just want to be like, oh, I don't want to listen to this. Like Persona, like a lot of Persona games have like songs where I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to hear this no more. But I have yet to get tired of any of the songs of this game. There's no song where I'm just like, yeah, let me just skip this. Like all the songs I love. It has like some of them have like a little bit like a hip hop to it, like especially the main battle theme, because the monk is just rapping. He's just going, I don't know what he's saying, but he's spitting. That man's saying some something. I don't know what he's saying, but it just hits. I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack, I'm kind of biased to this game. Like I'm gonna keep it honest, I'm a little bit biased to this game. The soundtrack, I'm gonna probably give it a 10 too. You probably gonna hear me say a lot of 10s for this game because I'm biased, especially in this review. In my next review, which is going to be a spoiler review, I'm not going to really wait too much. I'm just going to talk about a lot of the stuff that happens in the game. But in this review, I'm going to be rating some things because this game, I'm just going to give you a heads up. It's probably going to be a 10 at the end of this video. But yeah, the soundtrack is a 10. I'm going to keep it honest. I love it. Like just hear this. Just something else. Just love it. Just love the soundtrack. And I think there's yeah, that's about it. The soundtrack, love the soundtrack. The story, I'm gonna try to be unspoiled with the story. I ain't gonna talk too much like spoiler territory or anything. But the story, it's very engaging. It's very political, very very fancy too, very fancy heavy, like it's very like political but in a fancy setting, and it's very interesting. It had me hooked from beginning to end. Like I said, I ain't gonna talk too much spoil with it, but there's a lot of events and stuff that occur in this game that's just like, wow, I can't believe that happened. Like there's one part in the game that's gonna have you like, what the F? And yeah, I ain't gonna say nothing about it because it's just more time. I'm gonna talk about it in the spoiler review. I was just going to say that, like the spoiler review, I'm gonna be talking a lot more in depth with the spoiler territory and everything. But story wise, it had me hooked. Out of all the Atlas games, this probably had my favorite story because with like Persona 3, I love the theme of like death that it talks about and this and that. Persona 4 probably was maybe my least favorite story, but it had like some twists and plot twists and turns and stuff that had me like, damn, I didn't expect that. And Persona 5 story was cool. Persona 5 story was cool. Like, I loved it, but Mad 4, loved it. Loved the story. Like, I give it like a, cause I like to do decimals. I'll probably give it like a 9.8. It's gonna be like a 9.8 for me. Visuals. I'm talking about the visuals because this is a big part, and this might be the last part I talk about. It's a big part of the game that I see a lot of people talk about, where like, oh, this game doesn't look better than Persona 5, or this game don't look good. It looks like a PS3 game, and this and that. Like, man, to me, I've never been like a graphics guy. I've never been too much of like visuals is everything for me, but the art style of this game, like, I love it. I adore it. Like, Persona 5 is one of my favorite games all the time because of its graphics, because of its art style. But this game's art style just does something to me. I love it. I love like the how the colors look. I love how the characters look, and how like a lot of the enemy designs are. Just like, there's something about it that stands out to me that which I love, like even more than like a Persona 5. Something about it, like they wasn't afraid to take chances with some of the designs with this game. Some designs, and back to the music, like with the music and just everything with this game. But to continue with the graphics, yeah, love the graphics, love it, adore it. Like, I know some people probably won't like it as much, but for me, it's probably a 10 for me. I'm gonna keep it honest. Like I said, this game's gonna be a 10. This is a 10 for me. I'll just say that's the final verdict for me. It's a 10. Love this game, but that's just my personal opinion. Like, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a 10 for everybody. It's not gonna be a 10 for everybody. I give 10s out easily. I highly recommend this game if you're an RPG fan, JRPG fan. Highly recommend it. It's a fun time, great time. Even if you're not like into politics or fantasy and stuff. If you love JRPGs like a Persona, and then if you love like fantasy RPGs like a Final Fantasy, you will love this game. Trust me, you will love it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I fight once I play it more, it definitely may be my favorite game of all time. I think it will surpass Persona 5. I think it truly will. But yeah, it's a 10 for me. And yeah, thank you for checking out this review. I will be doing a spoiler review if you have beaten this game and you're just checking this review out. I will be doing a spoiler review and talking about like just spoiler territory, spoiler things with the gameplay, spoiler things with the story. I'll be talking about that. But yeah, if you want to tune into that, I appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and I will catch you all later.